Shalom, call law, Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai, Bahashim HaKadosh, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word and truth and in sincerity, the hopeful of that tabernacle of David, of the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. To the Aquat that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, to the 144,000, the 1/3, the hopeful elect. All right. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to everyone. Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of war and rumors of war. See that you be not troubled, for all these things come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah, wars and rumors of war. Okay. Wars and threats, wars and reports, wars and news of wars. Okay? Gonna keep this quick. This is Dimcat, the Black Edomite, if you will. 3 hours ago, Iran opened silos. What is a silo? Silo is like the bow of a bow and arrow. The arrow is the missile. Border clashes. U.S. diverts ammo from Ukraine to support Israel. So all of this falls into what's going on in the world war. Okay? Many fronts jumping off right now. So let's listen to Dimcat for a minute. We'll go ahead and close. Just a small update. Take it away. From an update from a simpleton. Okay? Who doesn't understand the big picture, but yet we'll listen to what he has to say. Take it away, Dim.
I think the war in Ukraine is pretty much over. It's been over for a while, and a really good indicator is that now the U.S. is reportedly planning on supplying the IDF with at least 20,000 155mm artillery rounds. This is for their weapon system and diverting resources, a significant amount of resources away from Ukraine to Israel. But here's my question. Why is the president still advocating for us to send money to Ukraine if we're clearly not invested in that conflict anymore? Is it because they have other things going on in the country? I mean, it's just a question I have. General war in the Middle East, a regional war, seems more likely by the day. First, let's talk about what the Americans have tested in Nevada. The Russians are reporting that the U.S. government has tested some type of new powerful weapon in Nevada. Of course, the ban on nuclear weapons tests pretty much ended. The Russians lifted that ban recently. They decided they weren't going to move forward with that. And right now, the U.S. government oversees a stockpile more than 5,000 nuclear weapons. So does Russia. We don't know what the U.S. tested in Nevada recently. It may be a new secret weapon to deal with Iran, maybe a preemptive type of situation. They might want to deal with Iran before Iran inserts itself into the war. The reason why I'm saying this is because there's now reports on Israeli television that Iran media is encouraging people to sign up to head towards the Lebanon-Israeli border. And there's people loading up on buses in Baghdad. There's militias. There's pro-Shiite militias who are actually loaded up. They're getting on buses, and they're coming from all over the place, all over the Middle East. Iran's also talking about how they have missiles with a range of 2,000 kilometers. That's about 1,200 miles. Hezbollah has some anti-ship missiles as well. They may use that to target Israel's naval force. Israel hasn't really spoken about their nuclear weapons or anything like that. They haven't officially declared their nuclear weapons. But it's very likely that they have submarines that are also out in deployment. And so this would be some type of deterrent if if a bunch of missiles are fired at Israel. Israel is such a small country as far as landmass. it makes them more vulnerable. But if they have nuclear weapons, that could be a deterrent. But we'll see if it is, because Iran's a very big country. They have a lot of land mass. So that puts them at an advantage if they do have nuclear weapons as well. I'm not saying it's going to get nuclear, but at this point, there are reports that Iran's silos are open. Dozens of ballistic missiles are ready to launch. I don't know if they're nuclear. I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I don't know what type of effect they're going to have. I don't know if they're going to be intercepted by the U.S. But according to Iranian sources, the Iranian Guard Air Force is set to conduct a major ballistic missile exercise pretty soon. So you have a number of countries preparing, testing, general war. That's what it's looking like. And when you look at the Lebanon Israel border, that's the northern area. It's the area in the north of Israel, the area they're going to be fighting if Hezbollah gets involved. There's been more and more fighting. There's been more and more attacks around that border between Israel and Hezbollah. There's some clashes and they're escalating, really. There's reports of Israelis being killed in the last 48 hours. 3 Israeli soldiers were killed, 4 were injured by Hezbollah. The Hezbollah attacked Israeli forces near the border area. At least 1 Israeli soldier was killed and 6 others were injured after an anti-tank missile attack on multiple checkpoints along the Lebanese border. So you have an escalation. You have Israeli soldiers already being killed. There's a big question of will Hezbollah get involved in this war? Well, we keep hearing reports that they're going to get in as soon as Israel goes into Gaza. I have some serious reservations about IDF's readiness for that type of operation in Gaza. I wouldn't be surprised if the United States government ends up sending tens of thousands of soldiers in to really help Israel. I know politically that would be very challenging for the U.S. government, but I don't see how Israel deals with all these different countries or threaten them without some type of backup from the U.S. And I think the U.S. is there for more than just a show of force. I think the U.S. is there to get involved. And do I think we should necessarily get involved? I think we should use the fact that we give Israel a lot of money and the fact that we have a lot of leverage to sort of encourage Israel to come up with some type of deal. I mean, obviously, they have to destroy Hamas. They have to destroy the leadership of Hamas. They have to protect their country. But it has to be, as long as there's a plan for after the situation, because they don't want to have to deal with guerrilla warfare type of insurgency type of situation in Gaza. They don't want to get bogged down in there. I think they need to target the people who are responsible for this horrific attack against their citizens. Israel needs to protect their people in that regard, but it also needs to be a plan, because there's some crazy rhetoric on all sides, really crazy rhetoric. So that's the question. Seems like whenever there's like a 9/11 type of situation, you can't question the narrative. You can't question what the official line. You just got to shut up and go along with whatever you're being told. And some people are sort of suspicious of Netanyahu, and as far as his knowledge of what was going on before the event. I get the impression that this guy, there's a lot to be desired as far as his leadership. So I think it's an issue of this guy made some poor decisions, and I hope they're at least able to deal with Hamas, the people who planned this attack, the people who end up kidnapping and murdering all those Israeli citizens. Of course, there's a hospital story and some evidence is coming out regarding that, but I'm not going to get into all that. The hostages, 2 American hostages were released, a woman and her 18-year-old daughter, so I'm glad they were able to be released. Maybe that was attacked by Hamas to basically buy them some time. I don't know. Those hostages are all in the tunnels. I don't know if Israel's going to operate with the assumption that those people are lost. I mean, I know it's a terrible thing to say, but I don't know if they're going to operate with that assumption, because I don't know if they're going to do anything drastic, like try to flood the tunnels, try to use nitrogen in the tunnels, try to use carbon monoxide in the tunnels. I know these are all crazy things, but there's crazy. I mean, look, there's a lot of rhetoric being thrown around by government officials in Israel. I'm not even going to get into all that. And also, on a Hezbollah, what they did was just inexcusable. It's targeting civilians. It's never justified. But anyway,
let's straighten that out right here. Had you not went into the land, claimed it, right, and then started killing all the people around you, none of this would be going on. Oh, it's a right to return. No. No. You don't go steal somebody's land. You don't, oh, I make the rules, so here's the rule I'm making. That land is mine. I'm going to place myself there, and anybody that has a problem with it, I'm going to kill them. If that never took place, we wouldn't be here today. How about that? There's no truth in that. But it's our land. No, it's not your land. Okay? If it's your land, explain this. Okay? Somebody appointed the land into their own possession, right? And it's in the Bible. Okay? Oh no, God put us back in that land. No. This has to happen before God puts anybody back in that land. This prophecy has to come to pass, and it did come to pass in 48. Okay? Ezekiel 36 and 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power, God, Yahweh, right? Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, right? Who's Idumea? Edom, which have appointed my land, Israel, into their possession. Who did that? Idumeans, Edom. So Edom has to take the land of Israel into their own, has to appoint the land into their possession. Has that happened? It happened in 1948. By what appointment? The appointment is called the Balfour Declaration. Okay? I guess we got to pull that up real quick. Okay? So this happens. The Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government. You gonna say what it was for? It says, Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This is them, okay, appointing the land into their possession, the Edomites, okay, not the Jews, not the Palestinians, okay, but the Edomites did this, okay? So whoever, here it is right here, all right? Look, dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you on behalf of His Majesty's government the following declaration, okay? This is you appointing the land into your possession, okay? And it didn't say that Israel would do that, okay? Because here, all right, let's get this. This is Isaiah 14. When God gives His people back the land, okay? Let's get it in the NLT. All right. Isaiah 14, but the Lord will have mercy on the descendants of Jacob, Israel. He will choose Israel as his special people once again. He will bring them back to settle once again in their own land. Now they're trying to say that they are Israel and that this happened in 48. Okay? Now, what goes along with God bringing this or putting his people back in the land? Okay? This goes along with it. They shall learn war. What is it? War. They shall learn. I'm using the wrong words. No. Let's see where this takes us. Salakia. That's it. Salakia, bear with me. Salakia, let me look it up on the phone. Bear with me, please. Isaiah 2. Okay. This is how you prove whether this is legit, right? Because it has to match up with the scriptures. All right, let's get the NLT. This is a vision, Isaiah 2 and 1. This is a vision that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house will be the highest of all. Okay? Meaning the government of the Israelites will be the highest of all, the most important place on the earth. This is in the kingdom. It will be raised above the hills. This is after he plants them back, okay, into their own land. It will be raised above the other hills, and people from all over the world will stream there to worship. Is that going on right now? No. People from all over the world are streaming there to go to war, not to worship. People from many nations will come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of Jacob's God, Israel's God. There he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Okay? For the Lord's teaching will go out from Zion. His word will go out from Jerusalem. The Lord will mediate between nations and settle international disputes. They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will no longer fight against nation, nor train for war anymore. Is this going on right now? This is what's going to happen when God places his people, not when man comes up with a declaration and appoints himself, appoints the land unto himself. Okay? Let's look at that. Let's get it in the KJV. It says, Isaiah 2 and 4, and he shall judge among the nations, talk about Israel, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, meaning their weapons into gardening tools and their spears and a pruning hook, same thing. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Why? Because they're all on one accord. Okay? Do we see that now? No. We see this. Joel. And we'll end on this. Joel 3. This is how we know those aren't the people in the land, because it's all about war. So this is before the kingdom. All right? This is before the judgment. Joel 3 and 2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them. What does it mean, plead? Judge them. The judgment hasn't happened yet. Okay? And those people, God will restore his people into the land after the judgment and will plead with them. Therefore, my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted, but we're still parted. We're still scattered, and the land is still parted. They're fighting over it right now. Okay? Now jump down here. Still warring. This hasn't happened yet. This is happening right now, meaning that we're not in the kingdom of heaven. So whoever's there claiming that the land belongs to them is lying. All right? Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares. See, when God puts his people back in the land, they're not going to be doing this, but this is what they're doing now. Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. What does this mean? Let the weak say, I am strong. What does that mean? That means that anyone from Iran to Bangladesh, which they probably already have nuclear weapons, they're still acquiring nuclear weapons to be able to say, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of the West. Come on, let's do this. Okay? So the war hasn't even, it's after the war where they're going to beat their swords into plowshares and start gardening again. Right now, it's the time for war. Okay? In the kingdom, when the true people are back in the land, they're not going to war anymore. We just read. Right now, we're doing the opposite of being in the kingdom because we're not in the kingdom yet. Get it? And if you don't get it, you will get it. Right? World War III is coming. Nobody can stop it. After that, okay? It's after, right? Let's see. It's after the war. Let me check this out real quick. Well, that's as far as I'm going to go on that. Okay, so anyway, that's the update. We still got a war to go through before anyone is restored, before God plant them. Read 14 here. Let's read 14. So Amos will be restored. Has it been restored? Let's read it from here. Because if Israel was already restored, right, we would be right here. Amos 9 and 11. On that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David, which has fallen down, and repair its damages. I will raise up its ruins and rebuild it as in the days of old. Has that happened? And where are the Edomites? Because if it already happened, those people should be possessing the remnant of Edom, or that land for that. That's talking about the land. And the Gentiles who are called by my name, says the Lord who does this thing. Behold, the days are coming. See? They ain't came yet, says the Lord, when the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him who sows seed. Meaning the slaves are going to turn into the masters, and the masters and the slave. The mountain shall drip with sweet wine, and all the hills shall flow with it. I will bring back the captives, the slaves of my people Israel. They shall build the way cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink the wine. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. I will plant them in their land, and no longer shall they be pulled up. What we're about to see right now is whoever's there is going to get pulled up. Why? Because God didn't plant them there. From the land I have given them, says the Lord your power. Okay? So, what's about to happen? The people that are there right now, we're going to watch them be pulled up. Okay? How? By a nuclear exchange. All right? Never again to be uprooted. All right? So, if those are the people, nothing's going to happen to them. If they're not the people, they're going to get blown off of that land. The Arabs are already, with all those Arabs, you think Israel, the way that it is right now, is going to continue on? We'll see. All right? Because this is contradicting it. They will not be uprooted again. If that's them, and God put them there, everything's going to go fine over there. But guess what we're about to see? We're about to see a nuclear exchange. Okay? Uprooted, plucked up, uprooted. Where's the good news? Pulled up, torn out. Okay, so that's it. We'll end it right there. Continue to watch, because what's going to happen in that land over there, that land is going to be decimated. Okay? Vladimir Putin, China, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, they all have nukes. You know where they want to shoot them? They want to shoot them on America and the land of Israel. Okay? And if those are the people and God put them there, it won't happen. When it does happen, what will you say then? Can you see that we're on track for that to happen? No, you can't see that? Look again. With that, we hope that the elect are edifying you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.